Hi, welcome back to PSLE Concept Mastery lesson. Now, today we are going to look at Primary 5 topic, which is average. So, what is average? Alright, it's a very simple concept, but there are some things that you need to remember. Like, for example, how do you find average? So, if you look at the box on the right side, you can see that average is equal to total divided by how many. So, what do you mean by that? Okay, now, I'm going to use a problem to explain to you what is average and what do you mean by total and what do you mean by how many. So every time there's an average problem, I would like to draw the average model. So this lesson, this lesson is very useful for for those students who have some difficulty trying to understand average. So we will need to draw the model for them to see better. So I'm going to read the question. Jim took 54 minutes to complete 6 pages of homework. So what was the average time he spent on one page? So if I were to draw the model, how do you draw? You have a rectangle, okay, which represent the total time taken. That is what I mean by total. So there's a total time taken to read all the pages. So you have something called total, right? Total. Okay, total time taken. And how many pages did he take to complete? He completed 6 pages. So you cut into 6 boxes. So how many pages, right? How many? So you can see that that is your how many. So there are 6 pages. I cut into 6 boxes. So what was the average time spent on one page? So the question mark is to find the time taken to read one page, and that is called average. So what is average? Average means that you take the same amounts of time to read every single page. So how do you find average? You take average, right? How do you find average? Equal to total, which is the total time taken, right? 54 minutes, and then divided by how many pages, which is 6 of them. And so every page will take how long to read? Every page will take 9 minutes to read. So over here, every page is 9 minutes, 9 minutes, 9, 9, 9, and of course, the question mark is also 9. Okay, 9 minutes. So average means everybody has the same number. Alright, every page has the same amount of time. That is called average. Equal time taken to read every page. So important lesson here, most of the time you will be asked to find average. So what do? You need to remember the formula. So average is equal to total time divided by how many. Alright, how many pages? Okay, let's look at one more example. Alright, using average model. Now, it is very important that if you are not good in your average, then you need to draw the model, because the model helps you to see visually, helps you to see better. Okay, so Jim took an average of 1 hour 25 minutes to paint a room. So I can convert this into minutes. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. 60 plus 25, that will be 85 minutes. So that's your average. So what is the total time taken to finish painting 4 rooms of the same size? And I'll give you an answer in hours and minutes. So how do you draw the average model? Every time you draw a model, you always start with a rectangle. And this rectangle represents the time taken to paint the 4 rooms. So what is the total time taken, which is the question mark? Okay, total time taken. And there are 4 rooms. So what do? You cut the model into 4. Alright, every box is 1 room. So that is your how many. Alright, so you have the total time taken, which is the question mark. And then you have the number of rooms, which is how many. So you have how many rooms. Okay, so you're supposed to find the average, right? Oops, you're supposed to find what? You're supposed to find the total time taken. Alright, total time taken. And what's the average? The average is 85 minutes. And what is that? It means that every room has the same amount of time. So every room take the same amount of time. That is called average. Right, 85 minutes per room. Okay, so I got the average. I got the how many rooms, which is 4 rooms, right? 4 rooms. So I can find the question mark already. I can find the total time taken. So how do you find the total time taken? You take the average, right, which is 85 minutes, and then you multiply by how many rooms, which is 340, right? 340 minutes. Okay, so that's how you find the total time taken. And then you have to convert to hours and minutes. So how do you do that? To do that, you can use a calculator, right? So you take 340 and then you divide by 60, right? 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So when you divide, you will get a fraction. So 340 divided by 60, and you will get 5.66666. So I can put down 5 hours, right? The whole numbers is the how many hours, and 5 hours is how many minutes. 5 hours will be 300 minutes. So you take 340 minus 300, that will give you 40. All right, 40 minutes. Okay, so 5 hours is 300 minutes. So 340 minutes minus your 300 minutes, you will get a remainder of 40 minutes. So your time taken to paint all the rooms, the time taken is 5 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, so what is average? So once again, average means what? Average means everybody has the same. Everybody is the same. Every room takes the same time. Take the same time to be painted. So that is called average. Everybody has equal number, right? Each person has equal number. Okay, that's all you need to understand. Average. Okay, now let's go to another example. Sometimes you may be asked to find how many, right? How to find how many? So you have the total amount of oil in some containers, which we don't know how many containers, which are filled to the brim, is 3000 ml. So each container has a capacity of 500 ml. That is your average already. So it means that every container has the same capacity. So this is average, right? Average. So how many containers are there? So you're supposed to find how many. So once again, we draw the average model. So you always start with a rectangle. And what is the total amount of oil? The total amount of oil in all the containers is 3000 ml. Okay, now this model is going to be quite interesting because we don't know how many containers are there. So we don't know how many boxes to cut. In primary 2 or 3, right? In primary 2 or 3, if you do not know how many boxes to cut, there is something called broken model or dotted line. Okay, dotted line to show how many that we don't know how many boxes to cut. So you have the first box and the last box, and in between we don't know how many boxes. So we have a dotted line. Alright, and then what is the average? Each container has a capacity of 500 ml. So that is your average. Okay, so every container is the same, right? The same amount. So can you find how many containers are there? So how do you find how many containers are there? You take the total, right? What is a total? Alright, so total is 3000 ml, and you divide by the average, which is 500, okay, 500 ml, and you will get 6 containers. So which means that how many containers or how many boxes do you cut in this model? You cut into 6 boxes. So you have 1 box already, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you have to cut into 6 boxes actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So when you don't know how many boxes to cut, what happens? Then you have a broken model, which is what you will see in the harder problems. When you are solving average problem, some of the problems are quite tough. So you don't know how many containers. Then you will need to have a broken model, right? So every box will be equal, right? Every box will be the same, and this is called average. So average means everybody all gets the same number. Right, everybody all has the same number. So how many containers are there? You have 6 containers. Alright, so the first part of the lesson is to cover how you find average, which is very common, right? You always need to know how to find average, and then you need to know how to find the total, right? How do you find the total? And then you also need to know how to find how many, alright? How many containers are there? Alright, so that is what you need to know about this topic. Okay, we are now going to go into something going to practice already, right? So when you come across, if you come across problems, right, in the exam or in the homework, and then you see an average problem, and then you get confused. So what do? You draw the average model. So this is very important for those students who are weak, right, who are not able to understand or unable to solve, unable to work out the answer. Then it is important that you visualize the problem by drawing out the model. So how do you draw the model for this problem? So you read the question. The average mass of 4 boys was 49 kilogram. So can we draw the first sentence? Yes, we can. You have a rectangle cut into 4 boys. Average means everybody is the same. So you have 49. So everybody is 49 kilogram. And then you can immediately find the total. You can find the total already. So if you remember the early part of the lesson, how do you find the total? Total is equal to average, right? Average mass times how many boys? So there are 4 boys. So average times 4. So you have 49 times 4. And you will get the total mass, which is 196 kilogram. Alright, then continue to draw the model. When Tom joined the group, what do you think will happen to the total mass? The total mass will become longer because Tom joined the group. And then what happened to the average mass now? The average mass of the 5 boys became 51.4. So now you cut the rectangle bigger, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like this. Okay? So you now cut the rectangle into 5 boxes because there are 5 person. And average means everybody is the same, right? Everybody is all the same mass. So when you draw the model, you can see that it's clearer. And then you can find the total mass of the 5 person. So you take 51.4 times 5. And that will give you how many, what is the total mass of the 5 boys. So 51.4 times 5, the total mass is 257 kilogram. Okay, and that's the total mass. Okay, let me have a quick check. So 51.4 times, times 5, and 257 kilogram. Alright, so you have 4 boys here. Okay, there are 4 boys. And then now there are 5 boys. Right, 5 boys. So the last person must be Tom, right? Tom. Alright, so a very important lesson here. Okay, when you draw the average, now this person, this person is the same person as over here. Same person. Okay, and this second person will be the same person. Alright, so you have the second box refer to the same person. Then you have the third person, same as the third box. And then you have the fourth person who is the same as the fourth box. Alright, this is important because you will need to understand this to solve the harder problems later. Okay, then where's Tom? Where's Tom? Tom will be over here. Tom. So what is the mass of Tom? Can we find the actual mass of Tom? Tom is not 51.4 kilogram. That is the average mass. Average mass is not your actual mass. So you have to find the actual mass. So the mass of Tom is the increase. Right? When Tom joins, what happened? The total mass has increased to 257 kilogram. So what is the increase in the mass when Tom joins? So you take 257, right, and you minus 196 kilogram. So there is an increase of how many kilogram? There is an increase of 61 kilogram. So which means that Tom must be 61 kilogram. That's why when he joins, the total mass has now increased to 257 kilogram. Okay, got it? So this is how you draw the average problem. So it may take some time, right? It may take a while to draw the model, but at least you will know how to work out the answer by looking at the model. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, now the average score for 4 subjects that John took during an exam was 95 marks. So every subject is the same marks. If you score 100 marks, for each, or score 100 marks each for 3 subjects, so that is your average also. So when you see 100 marks each for 3 subjects, that is another average. Every subject is 100 marks. So how many marks did he score for the last subjects? Alright, so let's draw the model. So you always start with a rectangle, and you always draw from the beginning to the end. So can we draw the first sentence? The average score for 4 subjects. So you cut into 4 boxes, and every subject is the same, which is called average. And you can find the total already. So when you draw the model, you can see that I can find the total. I take 95 times 4 subjects, and I will get 380 marks for the 4 subjects. Okay, so that's your first sentence. Then how do you draw the next one? Now, if you score 100 marks each for 3 subjects, right? 3 subjects. So you look at the sentence and you draw what? Draw 3 subjects, but this time what happened? There are only 3 subjects, right? So you can draw, you can draw something like that, right? Something like that. Why like that? Because 100 marks for 3 subjects. So you have 100, and then here 100. So of course the box will be bigger than the previous one. 100 is more than 95. And then the third subject will be 100, right? 100. Okay, now, so before we continue, once again, I need to bring your attention. Now, this is your first subject. Then this is the same. Same, for example, if this is English, then this will be English. If this is math, then this will be math. Same subjects. If this is science, then this will be science. Okay, then where's the Chinese? The Chinese will be somewhere over here, right? The Chinese. Okay, the Chinese. So how many marks did he score for the last subject, which is maybe the Chinese? Okay, so can you find how much more is that? All right, so if every subject is 100, then what's the total marks for the first three subjects? So you have 100 times 3, that will give you total marks 300. Then the Chinese must be, or the last subject must be how many marks? There is a total of 380 marks for 4 subjects, right? And now there is a total, right? There's a total of 300 marks for 3 subjects only. Then where is the fourth subject? The fourth subject must be somewhere here, right? Which is the dotted box. So how many marks is that? So 380 minus 300. So the last subject must be 80 marks. Okay, the last subjects. So how many marks did he score for the last subjects? Which is 80 marks. Okay, and that's how you solve. Alright, looking at the model. So the important lesson here is if you have the first box, then the first box and the first box below, they are the same. They are the same. And if you have a second box, alright, this is a second subject, then below will be the same subjects. Then the third, and then below the same, the third. And then the last, and below the same. Alright, so this is important because later on you will see a very hard problem and you need to understand the concept about this model. Alright, now let's go to another example, and now it gets more numbers already. The average of 8 numbers is 42.5. So immediately, can I draw a model? Yes, of course. I draw a rectangle. I cut into what? Into 8 boxes, right? 8 boxes. So a long rectangle, don't draw too small, otherwise you have difficulty cutting. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And average means every number is the same. That's called average. Right, you can see there's a bit tedious. Alright, it's a bit there is a lot of number, right? There's a lot of writing, there's a lot of things to write and draw. But once you get better, there's no need to draw the model. Once you understand the concept, then there's no need to draw the model already, right? So the average of the first 3 numbers is 37.2. Okay, now can you see where are the 3 numbers? Now, if you look carefully, this is the first 3 numbers, right? First 3 numbers. And you're going to draw the same 3 numbers, but it has to be shorter. Why shorter? Because the average is smaller. Why smaller? Because 37.2 is smaller than 42.5, right? It's common sense, right? So if it's smaller, you have to draw a smaller box. So 37.2 for the first 3 numbers, which is the same as above. Okay, and then the sum of the 4th and the 5th number is 80.2. Alright, so what do? Then we draw where's the 4th and the 5th? This is the 4th and the 5th, right? So we're going to draw 2 more numbers. Something like this, okay? Don't have to be perfect, right? Your model don't have to be perfect. So where is the 4th and the 5th number? Which is the 2 empty boxes that you see. And the sum is 80.2. So you can see that there is not much of a solving over here. Not much of a solving. It's more of the drawing, alright? Just draw out the problem. And then find the total of the last 3 numbers. So where are the last 3 numbers? Okay, let me just use a different color. So this is the last 3 numbers. Okay, maybe I use a green color. Okay, like this is the last 3 numbers that you see. Alright, so I'm going to draw all the way until here and the last 3 numbers. Okay, this is the last 3 numbers, and we're supposed to find the total of the last 3 numbers. So your question mark is here. Okay, and we are done. So can you find that question mark already? Yes, we can. So how do we do that? We can find the total of all the 8 numbers that you see over here. What's the total of all the 8 numbers? So you apply your formula. So there's a formula which is average. Alright, the average of 8 numbers. So you times 8 to give you the total. So you have 42.5 times 8, and you will get 340. That is a total of all the 8 numbers. And then you can find the total of the first three numbers, which is 37.2, and then you times 3. So 37.2 times 3, you will get 111.6, and whatever answers you found, you have to put it inside the model. And then what do? Then you take 340, which is the total of the 8 numbers, and you minus away the total of the first 3 numbers, and you minus away the sum of the 4th and the 5th number, and you will get the total of the last 3 numbers, which is the question mark. So 340 minus 111.6 and minus 80.2, you will get the sum of the last 3 numbers, which is 148.2, and that's how you solve. Okay, so this is like a 3-mark question, but if you draw the model, everything can be very clear to understand. All right, so that's how you work out the answer. Okay, let's look at one more example. Okay, now we come to something challenging. All right, something challenging, and that's why need to draw the average model, because when you come across this problem, then it gets very hard already. And one of the methods that the method that most students or some students they would like to use will be systematic listing, which is what they learn in primary school. But you have a big problem. All right, systematic listing is more for primary 4. All right, Mr. Ong, I will recommend primary 4 students to use systematic listing. And what is that? If you have followed my heuristic lesson, there is something like a table, which is your systematic listing. All right, something that is like this. So that is called listing, right? So for example, Mrs. Ong wants to give some stickers to every pupil. If she were to give 10 stickers to every pupil, she'll be short of 35. So one pupil, she wants to give 10 stickers to one pupil, then she'll be short of 35. So this is the problem. Now, how to do this? Can you take 10 minus 35? You can't. So this method is not very good to use for questions like this. You can only use this method if the number is a bit smaller, right? Smaller. Like over here, you can see the numbers are so big, right? So big. So which means that I will not want to use this method. So the other method that I can use is, of course, the model drawing, the average model, right? Which I call the average model, or you can also call the what? The excess and shortage model. So what we are going to do is what we're going to draw is something called the excess and shortage model, and at the same time, it is also called the average model. Why? Because every pupil is getting 10 stickers. Isn't that average? And then if she were to give 13 stickers to each pupil, so isn't that also average? So this is an average problem and also a shortage problem, right? There is shortages, all right? There are some shortages. Okay, so how do we not use this method? Since this method cannot work, the systematic listing is not a good method to use, then we draw the model. So this is how you draw the model, which is quite easy. And of course, the answer will be quite fast to get. So Mrs. Ong wants to give some stickers to every pupil. So we draw a rectangle to represent her stickers, right? And if she were to give 10 stickers to every pupil, she will be short of 35 stickers. Now, in one of my lessons, right, with my students, they were taught how to draw shortages. So shortages means you don't have. So you have an invisible box, and she's short of 35 stickers if she wants to give everybody 10 stickers. So how do we cut the box? Now, you cut the first box, and that is the first person, right? The first person get 10 stickers. But do we know how many pupils are there? We don't know how many pupils. So remember the broken model or the dotted line? Dotted line shows that we don't know how many pupils are there. And then where is the last person? Now the last person is somewhere at the end of the rectangle, right? Something like that. But of course I'm not going to draw that because it's very messy, right? So the last person is also going to get 10. But of course, that last person may not be able to get 10 because she was short of 35 stickers, right? So maybe the last person gets 7 or 6 or something, but she doesn't have enough. All right, so the last person is somewhere at the end of the rectangle. Okay, but let me just remove the red color lines so that it's easier to see. So we just have to take note that the last person is at the end of the rectangle. Okay, so now we are until here. Alright, so let's continue drawing. If she were to give 13 stickers to each pupil, she will be short of even more stickers. So I'm going to draw a same rectangle, right? Same rectangle. And this time, everybody gets 13. So that is also average. So each person gets 13. And we don't know how many pupils, so dotted line, and there is a bigger shortage, right? A bigger shortage, which is 119 short. So she was short of 119. Okay, so this is also called your average model. What is average? It means that everybody has the same stickers, right? And we don't know how many boxes to cut. That's why you have dotted lines in your model, right? Dotted lines to represent so many pupils or so many boxes that we don't know how many to cut. Okay, so how many stickers did Mrs. Ong have? So your question mark, okay, so where would you want to put the question mark? Your question mark is actually over here. How many stickers did Mrs. Ong have? And how many pupils were there in the class? Which is how many boxes do you need to cut in the rectangle, which we don't know, but we can find. So we are done. So this model is done. It's called the shortage and shortage model, and I also call it the average model. All right, average model, shortage and shortage model. Okay, so let's look at this model and see how to solve. Now, if you look at the average, everybody has 10. Now, everybody has 13. So which means that each one must have how many more? Each one must get 3 more. Okay, 3 more. Correct? But then the question is, where are you going to take the 3 more from? Right? If you look at over here, right? Everybody is getting 10 inside this rectangle, but there's not enough for everyone to get 10. And then you look at this rectangle, everybody is going to get 13. But again, there's not enough to give to everybody 13. So where do you get the 3 more from? Where to get from to give to everybody so that everyone has 13? Okay, now, so this is where you get. And that's where I mentioned before that you must know where's the first person. This is the first person and the same person. And then where is the last person in the model? The last person is somewhere at the end of the rectangle. And the same person, the same last person, is also somewhere at the end of the other rectangle, right? The model below. So look for the same person, the last person. So, and then once you draw a dotted line to indicate the last person, right? The last person, which is somewhere in this. Okay, let me just erase the dotted line. Okay, let me just try again so that you understand what I'm trying to say. So look for the last person. Where is the last person? Somewhere at the end of the rectangle. And where is the same last person? Somewhere at the end of this longer rectangle, right? And in between these 2 dotted lines is where you take from to give everybody 3 more. So what number is that? That will be 119 minus 35, and you will get 84. So there are 84 stickers in between the dotted lines. So you are going to take the 84 stickers to give to everybody 3 more. So divide by 3. So how many pupils were there in the class? There are 28 pupils in the class. And you solve your part A, right? Your part A problem. So you can see that it's quite fast to work out the answer if you know how to draw the model. And then how many stickers are there? Oh, that will be quite easy to find. So if everyone get 10 stickers and there are 28 pupils, then 28 times 10, then Mr. Ong must have 280 stickers, right? So Mr. Ong will need 280 stickers to give to everybody so that everybody has 10, right? But he doesn't have 280 stickers. He was short of 35. So you take 280 and you minus 35, he only has 245 stickers. And that's how you find your part A, right? And can you check your answer as well? Yes, I can check as well. Well, if you look carefully, if he wants to give 13 stickers to everybody, right? Everybody he wants to give 13 stickers to each pupil, then how many does he need? You take 28 pupils again, and you multiply by 13 each. He will need 364 stickers to give everybody 13 stickers. But does he have 364 stickers? No, he was short of 119. So you minus 119, right? 364 minus 119, and you will still get 245 stickers, which is what he has only, right? So Mr. Ong has only 245 stickers. So this is how you draw the average model, and we are talking about harder problems already, right? And of course, there are problems that are harder than this. Later on, you will see another example, the last example. But the lesson is what? The lesson is to draw the model. Once you can draw the model, everything becomes a little easier to solve. All right, let's look at the last one. Okay, the last one. Another example of a hard question, which most students they can't solve. So Vanessa bought some necklaces. So we don't know how many necklaces. As an average price of $12 per necklace. That is, what does that mean? Every necklace is the same amount, same price. If she had bought another necklace for $30, the average price of the necklace would be $14, right? So how many necklaces did she buy? Now, this is a very common question that is tested in the exam, and most students, they have a set of formula, right? There's a certain step, there are some steps that they have memorized, right? And then they got the answer correct. They managed to get the answer correct because of certain steps that they somehow they memorize. But I think that may not be very good because problems can change. So if the problem change, then if you memorize that certain steps, those steps of solving, you'll find that it doesn't get the answer because problems are not the same. So you cannot apply you cannot apply a certain set of steps, right, to solve the problem. Okay, so how do we solve this problem then? Again, the model, right, the average model. So I have a rectangle which represent all the necklaces, which I don't know how many. So I cut the first necklace, which is $12. And I cut the last one, which is the last necklace, and in between I don't know how many necklaces, so dotted line. So Vanessa bought some necklaces at $12 each. Okay, so where's the first necklace? The first necklace is here, first one, and the last necklace is here. Okay, now then she bought another necklace. So what do you think will happen to the total amount that she's going to spend? The total amount will be longer. So there's some logic here, some common sense here. So when she bought another necklace, what will happen? The average became more, of course, right? So you cut the first necklace again, and how do you cut? How do you cut? Now, this part, you need to take notes, right? She bought another necklace. So remember, Ms. Tong told you about the last necklace, right? The last necklace, which is what I'm trying to show you over here, the last necklace. You need to cut the same necklace, which is $14. Okay, so let's recap. In our earlier lesson, you have the first necklace and the same necklace. First necklace and the same necklace below. And then you have the last necklace, right? And then you also have another the same necklace before she bought another one. So why do I show a box at the end? Why do I show an empty box at the end? Because she bought another necklace. So this is the another necklace that she bought, which is also $14, right? So very important lesson here. You have to know where you have to recognize where is the last necklace before she bought another. So you have to recognize the necklace, the last necklace in the model before she bought another one. Okay, so if she bought another necklace for $30, so the total money, right, the total cost of the necklace must have increased by $30, right? Alright, so you bought another necklace for $30, so what happened to the total amount? It will increase by $30. And then what happened to the average? The average became more. The average now became $14 already. So which means that you have dotted line again, because I don't know how many necklaces she bought. So every necklace is now $14. So how many necklaces did she buy? Okay, so can we put the question mark? Yes. Okay, now there is an important thing to take note. There's a if. If means haven't bought yet. So where do you put your question mark? Do you put your question mark like this? If you put your question mark like this, it means that you are including, you are finding how many necklaces did she buy altogether. Alright, but she hasn't bought because of the word if. So your question mark must be where? Your question mark must be over here, right? Over here, before she bought another one. Alright, so before she bought another one. So if she had bought another necklace, if means hasn't bought yet. Alright, so your question mark should be on top and not below. Okay, and we are done. So we can now solve the problem already. So how do we solve the problem? Very easy. You look at the average. Every necklace is $12, and now every necklace became $14. So which means that you compare the average and you find the difference. So this is the first step that many students will memorize. They will find the difference between the average, which is nothing wrong. Okay. Okay. Then where do you get $2 more? How do you get $2 more? So that every necklace will become $14 each. So where to get the $2 more from the model? This is where you have to draw your dotted line to show what? to show the last necklace, right? The last necklace before she bought another one. So where's the last necklace at first? Over here. Okay, dotted line to show the last necklace. Where is the same necklace before she bought another one? Over here. All right, to show the same necklace, right? So if you notice carefully, all right, I'm going to use a darker color. This is the last necklace before she bought another. This is also the same necklace, right? Before she bought another, right? Okay, so you're talking about the same necklace now. Okay, then you can see two dotted lines, and what do? You find how much is in between. What is in between the dotted lines? So that will be 30 minus 14. So there is a difference of $16. So you're going to take the $16 and give to every necklace $2 more. So you must have given to how many necklace? You must have given away to 8 necklace, right? So you take the $16, all right? Take the $16 and give to what? And give every necklace $2 more, right? Because so that they can become $14 each. So how many necklace do you give? How many necklace do you give $2 more? You must have given away to 8 necklace, right? 8 necklace. Am I correct? Right. So 8 necklace will have $2 more each. Alright, so which means that you cut the rectangle into 8 boxes. Okay, but of course we don't have to do that. So we have solved the problem already. So how many necklaces did she buy? So the answer will be 8 necklaces. And can you check? Are you able to check? Yeah, I can check. How to check? For example, if there are 8 necklaces, then how much will she spend? So 12 times 8, that will be $96, right? And then if you look carefully, look at the bottom. Alright, so if there are 8 necklaces, right, 8 necklaces, then every necklace is $14 each. Then how much is 8 times 14, right? So from here, 8 times 14 will be how much? So you have $112, right? 8 times 14, and then you plus another $14. So you will get how many? You'll get how much? You'll get $126. So from here to here, there is a total of $126. And if you minus your $30, okay, minus your $30, would you get back the money over here, the same money, which is $96? So that's how you can use the model to check whether you have done correctly, right? So how many necklaces did she buy? So the answer will be 8 necklaces using the model. All right, so this question over here is going to be quite hard to understand. So maybe just by looking at this part of the lesson today, you might not be very clear about how to get the answer from the model, but it's okay, because the purpose of the lesson is what? Is for you to understand how to draw what? How to understand how to draw the average model. Right? All these simple models, you must know how to draw so that you can work out the answer, like all the simple models here. And how do you find the total? How do you find the average? How do you find the how many? Alright, so all these are important lessons for those students who are not so good in their topic. So you must be able to know how to draw this simple model. And then after that, what do you do? And then you try to apply what you learned to solve a little harder problems like this, a little bit harder. Alright, a little bit harder, and these questions are a little bit harder, but still not very hard yet. Okay, but you can still draw the model to solve these medium kinds of problems. And then when it comes to the hard problems like this, then that's when you need to know how to draw a good model, to show out the average and to work out the answers. All right, so don't worry about this part. All right, the last two example, because it's the more difficult questions. All right, so for the weaker ones, your focus is to be able to understand how to draw the simple model for average. And then once you understand already, then you can talk about how to draw this model, which is a little harder. But once you get it, it's also easy to draw. Okay, so we are done with our average lesson. So it's quite a big lesson, it's a long lesson. So hopefully by the end of today's lesson, you have a better understanding of how to find average. So not very hard. So every time you look at average problem, the first thing that I would like to do is, can I draw the model? Can I draw the average model? If I can, then I will start drawing, right? And usually you can draw the average model if you don't know how to solve. Alright, so we are done for the heuristic lessons for today. So I will see you in the next, not heuristic lesson, for the PSLE concept lesson. So I will see you for the next concept lesson in a few days time. Alright, so see you soon.